Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new episode of our NASCAR 25 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day as today we take on the double here from the Indianapolis 500 as well as the Coca-Cola 600. Looking forward to this one now as we go on the quest to conquer both races here this weekend as we kick things off with qualifying here from Charlotte Motor Speedway now, and well, a one and done lap scenario, so you get one shot to get it right or vice versa, get it completely wrong. And well, through 1 and 2 felt pretty confident with the lap that I had put together so far in the first half, but of course you got to get down 3 and 4 as well as we head down into turn 3 and right against that blue line. Got to be a little bit patient before you can get hard back on that throttle, but as we come through to the line through this tri-oval, it's going to end up being a bit of a disappointing, honestly, 22nd place. I was expecting a little bit better, but yeah, I mean, obviously not great as Kyle Larson and William Byron lock out the front row here from Charlotte. And well, going from Charlotte, not straight to the race, because next up we get to go to Indianapolis Sunday afternoon, and we're going to cut through to a little bit later in the Indianapolis 500 as I was chasing down some drivers inside the top 10 of this Indy 500 to try and get a top 10 result here now as we are within the final 15 laps of this race at this point now. And well, working my way forward now, and you had the likes of Scott Dixon, Will Power, Joseph Newgarden up front as I actually make this pass here down the back straightaway on Pato O'Ward with as well a bit of an aggressive move 3 wide here to the inside of Alex Rossi right there. That got really close, but we were able to pass, of course, Palou as you saw. And we just continue, or sorry, not Palou, but Pato O'Ward that was, as we continue to go forward now, passing, actually getting alongside Santino Ferrucci. And here's Alex Palou, who's a little bit off the pace on the run into turn 1, and we'll pass him as well, but he's going to get the run around the outside and re-clear me on the exit of the corner now into turn number 2. So Alex Palou returns to form as we continue to chase him down here in these closing laps. Right now we were running about 9th place at this point in time. Graham Rahal was 7th, Palou was 8th, and we were at this point just kind of following Palou and seeing what he was going to do in these closing laps, as I had kind of felt like I'd hit my limit and I make a bit of a mistake right there in turn 2 as well, and we save it fortunately, but we had been able to get past Graham Rahal at this point now, and in these closing 5 laps of the double, running in P8, trying to stick with Palou, but just didn't quite have any pace at this point now. It was really just hanging on, and I didn't really feel like I was going to be able to go any further as Scott Dixon was continuing to kind of control the pace in these closing laps now, and I knew at this point it looks like P8's really just going to be what we have to settle for here this weekend. Such a cool concept of racing the Indy 500. I love doing this kind of episode where we get to do both kind of races now. Indy 500 is such a fun racetrack, but as we were approaching the final lap, look at this, out of turn 4, Palou has a bit of a moment, and we got a big run here on the back of the Spaniard, and we'll get alongside, and we pass Palou on the run into turn 1, so we move up into P7, starting the final lap now with Scott McLaughlin in front as I make a mistake right there through 1, as Scott Dixon continues to lead now as we roll through 2, and another mistake right there as the car was turning so much better with clean air, and I really just wasn't ready for it. And look in the mirror, here comes Palou back at me now down the bank straightaway into turn number 3, side by side into the corner will be just wheel to wheel super tight racing, but we stay in front, and as that's happening, Scott Dixon is down the front straightaway, coming through to win his second Indianapolis 500 as a photo finish for second between Will Power and Joseph Newgarden, and we bring it home for P7 in the Indianapolis 500. How about that? We then hop on a plane and head to Charlotte, North Carolina, where fortunately in a video game we don't have to worry about weather throwing some hiccups at us in the Indy 500 and, delaying us getting to the Coca-Cola 600. So now just a few hours later, we arrive in Charlotte and ready to roll for the Coca-Cola 600 here now. And of course, a race that starts in the daytime ends under the lights here late in the night as the jets fly over, and we are ready to fire off from just outside of the top 20 as we currently lead the point standings for the first time in our career. But 100 laps of racing coming your way as a Coca-Cola 600 is underway. 100 laps. Every stage is split equally. 4 stages in this race are all split in 25 lap segments. So very straightforward. Pit strategy, of course, could be hit or miss depending on, when the cautions come out throughout this race. But obviously for us, it's all about stage 1. It's the same situation as usual. Just work our way forward, and we'll be able to hopefully do that relatively, consistently throughout this opening stage. And of course, there's options to maybe short pit to try and gain some track position and hang on towards the end of the stage. But that all comes down to if there's going to be any cautions or not. And as we're doing this race, at this point in the career mode, we've got about 20 races left, just over 20 races left on the season. NASCAR 26 comes out this video is going to be going out on August 14th. So, we're going to have basically a month until NASCAR 26 is out with the Gold Edition, which I believe is going to be September 15th. So obviously, we got a month to basically do 20-ish races. Now, outside of the crown jewels, like this episode is just a Coca-Cola 600, but typical episodes now, of course, consist of 2 races, which means we've got overall about 10, 11 episodes to go following today's episode. So, of course, 30 days basically. We basically got to do almost an episode every other day, now that I think about it. So, you're going to see NASCAR 25 career mode pretty consistent over the next month, basically, just to finish off this career mode, because I don't want to finish it without actually finishing the season and then going into NASCAR 26, leaving the season unfinished. So there's so many things though that I'm looking forward to into NASCAR 26, compared to this game with the dynamic tracks and being able to have that opportunity to kind of move around the racetrack a little bit instead of kind of being forced to either running the bottom or running the top. It sounds like it's going to change over the course of the weekend. I think that's going to be really, really exciting, and I can't wait for that. Just a lot of the AI improvements as well. One of the biggest complaints I've had in this career mode all game long, from ARCA all the way to now, is the lack of variance in the AI. And if you missed the Q&A that they did for NASCAR 26, well, there is going to be more variance in the AI, but on top of that, there's going to be a slider as well, so you can actually customize the amount of variance between the AI and how they run. So that as well is going to be super exciting, and I think that's going to make NASCAR 26 career mode, just by that alone, so much more entertaining for not only you guys, but for me as well. And I'm going to be so excited to actually make some content on it again, not knowing, who's going to be the favorites going into every race. You're actually going to have some variance in where they're running. I think that's going to be great, and I am so excited to get to NASCAR 26 just for that alone. And then on top of that, you got the trophy room, you got facility upgrades coming, you got door bumper clear coming, you got the new training mode that's going to be in the career mode as well. So there's some things I'm really looking forward to just make the career mode a bit more exciting. And I've got I did a video on it, but long story short, I've got a super cool career mode kind of plot and story plan that's even going to include my dad, as we actually have a crash there in turn 1. Cautions out here on lap 12. It's Christopher Bell, one of the favorites here tonight. Cautions out for the number 20 Ream Toyota Camry. Kyle Larson leads. Everybody's going to pit, so that takes out any strategy here in stage 1. One of the things I did, though, was make an adjustment from 46.0 to 45.0 on the wedge, and we will restart in P20. So what you saw there, though, was as I was talking and blabbing on about a bunch of nonsense, you notice that we didn't really go anywhere. We're still down here in 20th place, so we clearly don't have the speed that we're exactly looking for quite yet, and that was a bit of a concern for myself here now as we continue on, because I felt like the car overall was driving relatively well, but the problem was I didn't really have any speed, and that's a problem that could carry through the course of this race. So obviously, as you can imagine, like I said, a little bit concerned about the lack of speed in this car. We're just going to have to kind of settle in, and if maybe we don't have the speed that we're looking for here this afternoon going into the night here from Charlotte, then you're just going to have to grind it out and honestly just run the inside line. That's kind of the fastest fast lane. You can run the top here in Charlotte, especially on the restarts, like the first 2 or 3, maybe even up to 5 laps after a restart. You want to run the top if you can. But overall, if you're going to go forward, most of it's going to happen on the inside line here this night, evening here from Charlotte Motor Speedway, and that's exactly what we were doing now. And we were working our way forward. We're up into 18th alongside the 23 of Bubba Wallace, and we'll be clearing him and up into 16th after passing John Hunter Nemechek with help from the 21 of Josh Berry with 5 laps to go here in the stage. But Berry gets to my inside as the number 11 leads the way as we roll through the center and off turn 2 down the back straightaway. And unfortunately, Josh Berry, he would be able to get clear of me into turn 1 that next lap around, and here comes as well Carson Hocevar. So you can see as this run's going on, again, the outside line's just not prevailing very well right now. So I feel like the inside's really where we're going to have to be, and it especially doesn't help when you're hitting the outside wall. You saw my reaction there on the right side. Not thrilled with that one, and we dropped down to 20th place again because of that, and immediately coming to the final lap at this point, just back down to the inside, as now the number 45 has gotten out in front here, as we'll be alongside the 2 of Cindric. It's going to be 1 lap to go here in stage 1 to the inside of John Hunter on the exit of turn 2, and pushing our way forward here on this final lap of stage 1, and we're going to be just behind Josh Berry here as we dive down into turn 3 with help from Bubba Wallace, side by side with the Wood Brothers 21. Overall, though, it's going to be 18th as we exit turn 4, and that's just a whole lot of nothing for us here in stage 1, and just quite frustrated with the lack of speed. And I just honestly was more confused than anything. I'm like, where in the world is the speed in this car right now? Because we have a fully upgraded car, it's a level 11 everything, and just for whatever reason things weren't really clicking right there. So we'll pit for 4 tires as well as some fuel as the sun is set, and now we're ready for some night racing. Stage 2 is about to be underway here from Charlotte Motor Speedway now, and obviously in the championship picture, what we don't want to see is, you know, our biggest competitors scoring points here this evening from Charlotte while we're not even inside of the top 10. And unfortunately, though, that's exactly what we've been seeing so far, at least out of, you know, just one stage. Still, there's a lot of course racing to go, so a lot can change. But, you know, as we come into this weekend, like I said earlier, we've got that championship lead, and of course with that chase format, we saw how it went last season. You got to be super consistent over the course of those 10 races if you're going to be able to, you know, win the championship. Speaking of winning, of course, again, shout out to a lot of you pit crew members on this channel. I'm sure some of you guys are excited for NASCAR 26 as well, where the pit crew members will be a part of the career mode lore. But shout out, of course, to Glenn Lawrence, who's got the most wins of anybody on the pit crew lore, with 12 over Toilet, who's in second with 7 wins. Christian Valentin as well there with 6 wins. And, of course, the guys here at Junior Motorsports on our team as part of the role play of the series, Glenn Lawrence and Sean Sinclair, Trey K, Thomas as well. Of course, I've been enjoying some of the successes that we've been having this season as a team in this number 15. We have kind of turned into that championship threat, I feel like, this year. Last year, we made the chase, but I felt like we were the underdog. And now I feel like this season, we're no longer considered an underdog. We're considered a championship threat. However, we're not a threat for anything tonight because we can't even go anywhere. We're still stuck around 18th to 20th place. It just hasn't really been working out so far here now, as we're behind the number 21 again of Josh Berry, and looking to the inside of him down this front straightaway. We got some help here coming from John Hunter Nemechek down the front straightaway, so he'll give me a nice push that gets me alongside this 21 here down into turn 1. And now we got a crash up there. That's the 11. The 11's gone around. Caution is out here, and actually everyone's going to stay out from the looks of it. Okay, so we'll stay out as well and get ready to go back going racing here for a restart, as Kyle Larson will be in control. I was expecting to see drivers pit, but once they all stayed out, I figured I'd stay out with them. And as we go back racing as well, another thing I'm looking forward to in NASCAR 26, just based off what we just saw right there with the number 11 crashing, DNFs. DNFs is going to be a thing, at least for the AI. In NASCAR 26, I am looking forward to that. They have confirmed players cannot DNF from damage or anything like that, unfortunately, which I was a little bit disappointed by, of course. But it does bring up an opportunity for us to go into NASCAR 26, and I am considering my own DNF system. So what I'm thinking is, now you can, they said if you choose to quit a race, that is considered a DNF. It'll skip the rest of the race. So what I'm thinking is, in NASCAR 26 career mode, if we get involved in an accident, and what I'm going to do to test this is I'm going to find what the maximum amount of time you can get for repairs is for damage. And say if the maximum damage you can get is a 20-second repair, then I will then go for a DNF. If I was to have 20 seconds of damage, I would leave the race, call it a race, for example. So let me know down below if you would like to see something like that, but I want to have the same consequences that the AI have as we come in a little bit early here. We're pitting about 3 or so, maybe 4 laps earlier than everybody else, and the reason I'm doing this is because of what you saw. The fact that I have not been able to go anywhere so far, and it's so frustrating when you're just stuck in traffic. So we had to try something a little bit different, and as we come around turn 4 down the front straightaway, we've already got a bunch of drivers heading into the pit lane here. So it looks like now we'll be seeing over this next couple of laps all these guys pitting, but we are short pitting, so we are going to be able to gain a bunch of track position, and we might even be like the leader, because look at this, we're coming around the outside here of Hocevar, the 6 of Kozlowski, the 45, the 21 as well. There's the 1 of Chastain, and as well the 17 of Chris Buescher. We're going to pass these guys as well down the back straightaway, and Kyle Larson's now in the pit lane. That's the big question. Do we come out in front of Kyle Larson or behind Kyle Larson? We're about to find out, because he's exiting the pits, and as we head down this front straightaway now, help from the 17 of Chris Buescher. There's the 5 of Kyle Larson right there in turn 1 now, in front of the other guys of Byron, Bubba, as well as Bowman, and on the exit at turn 2, we will get to the side and clear of the 5 of Kyle Larson. But how about this? The 34 of Todd Gilliland is actually leading and has the entire field 1 lap down, and guess what? He was the only one that pitted on that last caution. So I think Todd Gilliland actually could make it to the end of the stage, meaning all of us are trying to run him down and unlap ourselves in the closing laps of the second stage now as Buescher goes by. Larson's going to go by. Chastain's behind us as well into turn 3 as we drift up the racetrack now, and Kyle Larson side by side now at the line with the number 17. The 34's around, caution's out. Oh my goodness. Stage 2's over. We end up 4th. We got the track position, but there's another problem here. 34 wins the stage. The entire field's a lap down. I've never seen anything like this. But if we pit, we stay 1 lap down. If we stay out, we get the waiver round. Now, I'm going to elect to take the waiver round, but there's another problem that's presented on top of that that's still going to hurt us. So the majority of the field, I can confirm the large majority of the field has taken the waiver round. So as we get ready to go back racing, we are, where are we at in line right now? I don't even know, but we're scored as 3rd place. However, stage 3 kicks off, and the problem is that right there, top left, 6 laps of fuel. We only have 6 laps of fuel, so we need a caution to come out in these closing, or in these next few laps. And the reason I have so little fuel was because when I made my green flag pit stop, I didn't fill up the car because I didn't really plan for a scenario like this happening. I simply put in enough gas to get to the end of the stage. I didn't fill up the car. So everyone else that pitted, they're in a different scenario. They have enough fuel to get to the end of the, or to get further than we are going to be able to, because they're not going to be able to get to the end of stage 3. But obviously, that was like the one time I've ever done that where I didn't fill it up on gas and only filled it up enough to get to the end of the stage. And of course, the one time I do it is the time where we get screwed over by it, because now we are going to have to pit. Also, we're on older tires, and just about everybody out here because we pitted before anyone else did in the second stage as we nearly get turned down the back straightaway, and that tells you how much we're struggling as the 23 of Bubba Wallace nearly sent us colliding into the outside wall. But at this point now, I realize we're screwed because we're going to have to pit, and our fuel light comes on. Obviously, we're going to stay out for as long as we possibly can. Right now, we run top 10. Now, if this continues on, if this goes green, we will get back onto the lead lap after everybody else pits again, but there's going to be another problem, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But we're going to come into the pits right here. We got no choice, but we got to go one more lap and come in. So now down the back straightaway, lap 6 of this third stage. We got one lap of fuel, so we're going to come in. We're going to take 4 tires. We're going to fill it up on gas, and we'll bring it into the pits here. But again, the new problem is because we're pitting so early in the stage, so as we get onto the pit lane, the new problem is I still cannot make it to the end of the stage. So it's going to require another pit stop to make it to the end of stage 3. We're going to be like 3 laps short of making it to the end of stage 3. So this is very quickly turned into a bit of a disaster here in the number 15 crew. So yeah, I mean, I am very frustrated by what's happened here, and it wasn't long after I pitted that some other drivers were already starting to come in, so that was a good sign of things to come. We also got a new leader, the 48 of Alex Bowman, out in front as we were coming up on about halfway here through this third stage now, and you can see right there John Hunter Nemechek, Eric Jones as well. It's like we're going to be able to pass these guys. They are going to have fresher tires than myself, so again, it's going to be a bit of a fight here, especially with this 43, I reckon, as we'll barely pass them down this back straightaway. But more cars are coming into the pits, as now the 43 is looking to my inside here, just about on the exit of turn 2, lap 12 of this third stage. What a fascinating turn of events we've gotten ourselves into, and there's another crash. It's Kyle Larson, and that is not what we wanted to see. Caution's out, and now well, at this point, we could maybe go for a wave around, but we wouldn't be able to make it to the end of the stage. We would still have to pit, and we'd be banking on another caution. And I just said, screw it, let's just race for the free pass. So I pitted, got my tires, got my fuel. McDowell pits as well, and Kyle Larson, I believe, is a lap down as well. So Alex Bowman is leading, but from what I am understanding right now is as we go back green with 10 laps to go in stage 3, I believe Cody Ware is going to be the last one on the lead lap right here in this number 51. So he is in 31st. So the last car on the lead lap is 31st, telling me 32nd is currently the free pass position. So we need to find a way to get to 32nd here in 10 laps. Now, usually I'd say that's pretty easy because it's usually drivers that aren't that great that run in 32nd. Well, the problem is this race has been completely turned up on its head. Now we got to race Kyle Larson now for the free pass. Kyle Larson is trapped 1 lap down. Eric Jones is trapped a lap down. He's a great driver. John Hunter Nemechek, he's not half bad. Joey Logano as well is a lap down. And you can see Kyle Larson up there. We got to run him down. Now the one advantage we have is Kyle Larson is in traffic, so we should be able to theoretically get there as we continue on here down this front straightaway. But obviously, just a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of frustration about what's kind of happened here now in this race. It just feels like every stage things are getting worse for us here now. As Joey Logano running 35th, he would eventually actually kind of get away from me here now as we come to lap 22 to the inside of AJ Allmendinger now, as well as Ricky Stenhouse. I can see Kyle Larson, and look at this massive clump of cars that are just kind of stuck right on top of each other right in front of us now with 2 to go in stage number 1. The free pass belongs currently to the 5 of Kyle Larson, and we are getting closer. Here comes Logano into the free pass conversation as well as we head down the back straightaway. Coming to the white flag in stage 3, Larson still the free pass. Logano is right there with him. Allmendinger shoots to my inside. I cover him off now. We're going to need a huge set of corners right here in turn 3 and 4 as Larson controls the free pass. Logano in second. Push coming from the 16 of AJ Allmendinger into turn 3. We're going to send it into the corner, getting alongside the 5, drifting up on the exit of the corner. It's not going to be enough. Larson's going to hang on to the free pass, and now we have to wait for the 4th stage. And that is another thing that I really did not want to see, because it just gives us less laps on the lead lap and obviously little opportunity to make a good race out of this. So we're going to pit again for 4 tires and fuel, and at this point now it just looks like it is what it is, and obviously fate has not really been on our side here this night in Charlotte. One stage to go, though, and it's going to be one final 25-lap dash here from Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600. What a long and grueling race this has been. Most mile-and-a-half races are already done by this point, and we've still got 25 laps to go in this race, or I guess 26 laps to go, as currently the number 11 leads the way down the back straightaway now, and obviously, again, we're racing for the free pass. We got to hope we're in position to get the caution, and my strategy this time is very different from the other stages. Previously, earlier, the reason we're in this position was because of the short pitting strategy. Well, obviously, when you're racing for the free pass, the short pitting is not really what you want to do. So I'm not going to be short pitting here. We're actually going to be doing the exact opposite. We're going to run as far as we can possibly run here in this final stage to the very end of the amount of fuel that we have, and just hope a caution comes out. That's at least the idea right now, as the 11 continues to lead over the 23. The 19 still up there in the conversation as well. Close call right there with Helio Castroneves. 3 wide down the front straightaway for absolutely nothing, by the way. I mean, as actually AJ Allmendinger is the guy we're racing right now for the free pass, and he's actually going to pass me. Not exactly what I was expecting to see right there, as we continue now right in behind him, and side by side right there on the exit of the corner. We continue to really force the issue now, and we have to, because we got to be in that free pass position. A caution could potentially come out at any point in time right now, and obviously we know, no matter what, we've given up so many points here tonight. It really has been a complete disaster for myself here now as we continue rolling forward. And instead of racing Allmendinger now for the free pass, we're now racing the 99 for the free pass here now as we're alongside Josefar. And all these guys I'm racing around now are obviously not for position, but we've got a pretty good handle on the free pass position at this point. So now it's just, hoping that a caution is going to come out at any moment. Just waiting to see that one car go spinning off in front of me somewhere in the distance, but unfortunately so far it just hasn't happened now. And what a terrible race this has been. Definitely one of those races that I had circled that I want to win, and well, this is our final chance to do it here in the NASCAR 25 career mode, and obviously it's not going to work out unless some absolutely insane miracle happens at this point now, as we're coming up onto the final 15 laps of racing, or it is 15 to go, considering we are 1 lap down at this point now, as we're 3 wide in the middle here with Josefar on the left, Priest on the right. Big push from the 99, who still is racing for me with the free pass situation now as we continue. And hold on, we got cars spitting, and the 99 is one of them. So pit stops are kicking off, and like I said earlier, we are going to run this one out as far as we possibly can. We've still got 4 laps of fuel, so we're going to hopefully, honestly, we'll probably get on the lead lap, and then, because everyone will pit, and then maybe when we pit, if we get really lucky, maybe someone will crash when we enter the pit lane or something. We've seen it before, but just killing laps at this point now and just hoping for a miracle. But the more laps we run, the less it matters at this point now, because we're just going to have less laps to be able to go forward anyways. But still, we will take a miracle if we can get it, but things are not looking promising now, as here comes several drivers into the pits here on the exit of turn 4, as Kyle Larson really got held up by that in the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. And as we head down into turn number 1, he's going to immediately, they'll be able to fire one back to my inside. That number 5 is so strong, and obviously, bad luck again for Kyle Larson, and his winless season in the career mode continues now, and it will continue tonight now as the leaders are in, and we will now unlap ourselves, but obviously no caution comes, so we're going to have to pit as well and give up that lead lap position. And at this point, it's pretty well, once I hit the pit lane, it's basically over.
Back it down.
And as we exit turn 4, coming up on 10 laps to go, there it is. We come in, and that pretty well seals the deal here. And I'm going to be really annoyed if I went longer than everybody, and then I come out and I gave up all that track position, and I'm no longer in a free pass spot, and then a caution comes out. That would really get on my nerves now. How about Brad Keselowski? The number 6 currently out in front with 10 laps to go here from the Coke 600. Is he about to get to victory lane? Caution.
Yellow's out.
Yep, of course it would happen. Of course. The 99's a free pass. We're 39th, so I said screw it. I mean, we got, what are we at, 99% there on the right side tires. I would stay out, but I mean, the best we could possibly do now is 34th. Now as the 11's actually back out in front as we go back racing, and what a frustrating race, man. I was so annoyed. It's just been a story of wrong place, wrong time, and nothing really went our way tonight. And with 7, or I guess it's 6 laps to go in this race, at this point, obviously, I'm just bringing it home because there's nothing that we can do that's going to make things any better for us now. And it looks like the 11 might have full control here in these closing moments of this Coca-Cola 600 now, as we're going to get right up here on the outside wall at this point now and try to go forward, but track is pretty well covered here with 3 wide happening all around. You could go 4 wide, but it's super risky for obvious reasons because the AI can really force you up into the outside wall. So if you're going to make this move like this, you better hope you're 3 wide on the exit of the corner. Fortunately, that's exactly what happened right there. We did get to 3 wide, but then right here on lap 96, getting a little too aggressive here, 4 wide to the outside, and yeah, got a little aggressive on that one and paid the consequence for it. Back down to 39th we go. I didn't even care at this point, but I threw the car back down to the inside. We do have fresher tires than all these guys around us because it was the opposite. They pitted earlier than we did, but I mean, I didn't care anymore. It was 2 laps to go. I said, let's just, you know, get this thing home, or come into 2 laps to go, I should say, as we're right on the back of Joey Logano. Part of me still wants to finish 34th to be like, hey, I was at least the best finisher 1 lap down, as Joey Logano's kind of been, you know, facing the same fate as me here tonight now, running like absolute garbage here in the mid-30s now, as we'll pass the 22 and continue forward in these closing laps now behind the number 3 of Austin Dillon right here, and just continuing to the inside. 2 laps to go. 1 lap later, white flag in the air. We're 3 wide here with Ty Gibbs, and McDowell is currently the first one a lap down as the 11 is in control. We get right into the back of the 54. We're going to be 3 wide as we got to deal with J.J. Yaley down the back straightaway, but side by side now with the 71 down this back stretch and looking for that final spot here, be that first one. 1 lap down, coming to the checker. The 11 is going to win the Coca-Cola 600, and we're going to bring it home in an absolutely incredible 34th place result here. I want to go home. I never want to do that again. That just did not go our way. So frustrating. Bubba Wallace in second over Byron Briscoe Bowman. How about Kyle Larson? Where did Kyle Larson end up? He rebounded to 18th. So obviously Kyle Larson, he hasn't won this season, but he's been very consistent and did a decent job rebounding, and obviously going to overall gain some points on me here, unfortunately, tonight, as we see, of course, to cap things off here, the updated points here. And obviously, yeah, just not the night we needed, and it gets reflected in the points. And we just got to go into the next episode where we will have 2 races and really bounce forward. We had, you know, we're a NASCAR driver. We had a way better Indy 500 than we did a Coca-Cola 600. So that does it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.